Then once we have what needs to happen, we can put that into a measurable, we can measure it and track it.
Follow through, and it's hard to get there. That is where we need somebody like you to help get that process out there. It's really important.
And then
that's where a lot of us fall short.
Measure it, track it, right? And then once we've measured it, we can track it and measure it. Then we can start putting people in charge of it that isn't always us, because of course, you know, that's the idea of a business, is that we're not doing all of the things all of the time. So then we can start to delegate things.
Welcome to Limitless. This is your place. This is the place where you recognize your own space within Limitless. I want there to be any limits. And our beautiful guest today, Cat, I adore you. This woman and I have worked together for a few years, and there's so much here. And we just were having a conversation about Limitless and what does that mean? And it's so important for me to provide an avenue for everybody to get somebody else's impression and perspective and understanding, so that it triggers within you exactly what you're needing today to touch your own limitless, that own space. So I am going to hand this over. Kat, introduce yourself. Tell these people exactly what you do, which I know is amazing.
Thank you, LeeAnn. Absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on here. We have worked for many years together. It's actually frightening how time flies. And we've had, you've seen me go on this journey. And I think what Limitless really means to me is integration. I think in life, we can be so fragmented into these bits of parts of roles. We're a daughter, and then, a sister, and a wife, and a mother, and a business person, and we're all of these pieces. And what Limitless really has done is it's really helped me integrate into one being again. And that means that over the years we've worked on lots of different areas of my life. We've worked on, my family life, my business life, my personal life. We've really worked on all these different things, and really what I love about Limitless the most is it's a system. I love systems. I love systems.
Yes.
So I love how Limitless is a system, and I can dial into the area of my life that I need the most support with, and I can find the parts of the system, the Limitless system, that will help and support me in that area until I need, when I need something else, and I can move around.
So with your clients, do you take them on a process of decompartmentalizing so much and letting that flow happen for them? Is that a part of what you do?
Absolutely. So a massive part of marketing success is about understanding and clarity, which is the very same thing in Limitless. It's about that deep understanding, having that clarity. And so what I've brought into my marketing, in the way I do things, is really focusing on giving people space to explore their marketing vision and what it is that they're really after, and the different ways, the different options, and the different things, and really exploring those ways in terms of their preferences, what they prefer or what they dislike doing.
So you're telling me that there isn't just one way to do marketing? Because I know I get overwhelmed with this so often. You got to have this and put this in place and make sure you're doing this and make sure you're doing that. It's all valid stuff. Absolutely. But it is so limiting. That does not fit with who I am. So you're able to take and look at what people have and give them more of an integrated system that will work for where they're at. Is that?
Absolutely, but not only for where they're at, but who they are. You know, people are different. So a marketing system that works for me isn't going to necessarily work for you, and vice versa. So just as diverse as humans are, is as diverse as marketing systems can be. There's no one size fits all. There is no one size fits all.
And the minute you get it, it changes, because our world changes, our market changes, everything about everything changes up. And being in business it's a world within itself. It truly, truly is. And if you can find that energy of your, they used to call it niching down. I'm not a big fan of doing that so much anymore. I think that was vitally important, and it's a part of the process of getting you there. But recognizing your audience and the people who are more inclined to hear you, that is super important. Super important. But if we can take that then and find that limitless space of being and open up to that with what we have to offer, I think it matters greatly. And I know that you're in the process also of expanding your own business into new arenas and working more with more bigger businesses and arenas that are, I don't want to really call them limitless, because there's limited space within that. But you have this ability to come in and add, because we have worked so much on this, you can touch it, and that opens up these pockets of potential that other people are not seeing. And that's part of what you do greatly. It's one of your superpowers, in my opinion. You're very good at this. You can overlook a person's business, whether it be on a personal level or on the major screen. Now we're doing the thing.
Absolutely.
Right there, to where you can come in and say, these are places and things that we're working on that will open your business up, because you're pulling those limits out. And isn't that a part of the process when we talk? I know from my perspective, when I talk about limitless, our belief structures, our ideas, our anticipations, all of that creates limits. We are prone as human beings to have those. It keeps us alive. It's what keeps us fed. It's what keeps the lights on, and all the things. We have limits. Those are things. But when we take our vision forward, we need to let those all sit in the places where they belong, and then move forward. And our business is one of those things. Once you have the systems in place, then you want to open up and release all of that so that we can actually grow.
Absolutely. And you said a couple of things there about potential. You mentioned potential. And I think limitless for me is very much in context of potential, of personal potential, of business potential. And then you talked about how we've got limiting beliefs, but we have to balance those, those limiting beliefs, or that pursuit of potential, with boundaries. And nowhere more so than in marketing. We cannot pursue every possible way to do marketing. It's just not gonna work.
You find what feels right. For me, it's called alignment and flow. You find what feels right, not what you think is easiest or what feels comfortable, because generally we got to get out of those comfort zones. But you feel what's right and what resonates with the people that you're wanting to connect with.
Exactly. And finding those boundaries, you talk about alignment and flow, but finding the boundaries of that alignment and flow, because you can get wide and then
lost real quick.
So it's finding those boundaries of the optimized boundary of pursuit of potential.
That doesn't limit a person or their business. That actually provides the container to then take it forward into a new arena and make it even bigger and better. So it actually adds to the limitless possibilities.
That's right.
We do it properly.
So I'll give you an example. Working with an organization, they're in the charity sector, and they want a, they've had a marketing team, and they thought they'll get, two people to do double the work, and it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way. In fact, it all just unraveled, and that's the danger of marketing is people think that more is more, and it's not always more. So when you're doing all of
the quickly on you, yeah,
and throwing all the people at things, it's more is not always more. It really has to come from a place of, who are we talking to? Is it what they want? And does that, what they want, align with what we're trying to do?
And what part of our business that we're actually putting out there?
Exactly. And that narrow connection, that literally that intersection is it. That's the target. That is it. Anything else around it is missing the mark. It really is.
Which just limited your business down to where it can't move forward. I know it's a concept that it's hard for a lot of people to really grok, to pull it down in. But I know that working with you, you've recognized how important it is to align what you have in here with what you're putting into your business. All successful business owners have done this one way or another, whether they recognized it or not, but they have found that alignment with what's in here. And they've then been able to put it out into the world with exactly what you're saying at that one spot. So we're focused, but not limiting, because that one spot can be in all sorts of places. But we focus for now, and we send our messaging, we send the energy behind that messaging, and then we follow through with all of that. And that's one thing that I've noticed with Limitless that we have a tendency to do, is the follow through. Mm-hmm. It's very easy to get into the space of visioning and thinking, and I'm excited and I'm going to do and I'm going to do. But what are you following through with within that business? And that's where you come in, is you're able to take it and say, here's a process that we used, and where are we falling short, and how do we pull this back together so that people's businesses, because most of the people listening to this podcast are business owners. They're people who have had a success in business, but they're wanting to take it further. They're wanting to expand into new arenas. They've hit limits and they want to get beyond. So how would you suggest, in the business that you run, tell us a little bit about that. How would you suggest, what's the first step that somebody can do today if they're hitting there, if they're sitting there going, this is great, but you know what, there's got to be more. I'm missing something. I'm missing a segment of my business or the population. How do you suggest that they go about finding that?
Okay, so I have a very succinct blueprint of steps, 8 steps that I follow. And I like to start at the beginning with things, and I know you do too. Mm-hmm. And that is always to start with where we're going. So let's first decide on what direction we're going in. Goals, objectives, whatever you want to call them, vision, what is it where are we going? What direction are we going in? And then I like to define who, find that cross section of who are we talking to, define who those target audiences are, that target audience, that ideal client, however you want to phrase it. Mm-hmm. Who are we talking to? And then it's about communication with that target audience. What are we saying to them? These are, where are we going? Who are we talking to?
It's very basic, but it's very hard as a business owner to get yourself into that mindset, because you want to do everything for everybody with what you do. We're all like that.
Exactly. Now, you've got those 3 things, But then you need to know what order to say those things in. And that depends on the journey that the customer takes, on how they get to you, your target audience. How do they find you? And that can be different for different audiences and different for, different platforms. We've got digital platforms and in-person platforms. We need to say the right things to those people at the right times. And so that's really important. And then once we know who we're talking to, where we're going, who we're talking to, what we're saying to them, and when we're saying those things, then we can put a plan in place and we say, right, this is going to be the plan. And I'm going to create a marketing plan of these are the things that are going to happen. I'm going to do these events, or I'm going to do these emails, these podcasts, these social posts, etc. And we can actually decide what needs to happen. Then once we have what needs to happen, we can put that into a measurable, we can measure it and track it.
Follow through, and it's hard to get there. That is where we need somebody like you to help get that process out there. It's really important.
And then
that's where a lot of us fall short.
Measure it, track it, right? And then once we've measured it, we can track it, measure it. Then we can start putting people in charge of it. That isn't always us, because of course, that's the idea of a business, is that we're not doing all of the things all of the time. So then we can start to delegate things. And we can delegate those things because we know what the plan is. We know how to measure whether it's working or not. So we can control it, right? So
and it's replicatable to where you can have somebody else stand in your stead doing the thing.
Yes. And then once we've got people doing those things, it frees us up to lead. So step number 8 is leadership. How to be a marketing leader and actually be in control of the marketing.
How do you do that for somebody like me? For example, I'm not a marketing person. That's not my thing.
Exactly. But
I'm an intuitive, I'm a psychic, I'm a mentor. I do all the things. But the marketing is not my thing. I love doing it, but I need to be guided through that process.
Yes.
So you're saying that part of this is being able to lay the plan out with the person so that they can then lay that off on somebody else to do that part. So I can be free to be the leader that I am in the arena that I'm in.
Exactly. And also to motivate the person that you've hired to and empower them to come up with the things. You don't want to be the one coming up with the ideas and the
That's exhausting. I have been there, and it is exhausting. Not only are you doing the thing, you're coming up with the thing, and then you're teaching the thing, and it's more than most people can cope with by the time you've.
And it's not enjoyable for either party, and it's not leadership either, right? Leadership of your marketing is about imparting your vision and empowering your team to want to make that vision happen.
I love that you just used the word team, because to me, that's where the Limitless steps in. When we can get to a point that what we're doing is replicatable enough, and we have a process together where we can have a full-on team, that's when you can start really expanding. Yeah. Do you get into the arena of being that one person that does it all? It's hard to let that go. It is. But allowing yourself to get into that framework is so liberating. And it will exponentially change your life in beautiful ways. So how would you suggest, we're going to wrap it up here in just a minute, how would you suggest that the average person who is in business for themselves, no matter what level of business that they're at, how do they do that? Do you have a process that you follow through? Do you have something that you would suggest that they do to be able to just take a look and see where they're standing and how they can get some ideas of how to follow through with this?
So the best way is to book a call with me, book an insight call with me. It's free. It's 45 minutes where we sit down and I go through the 8 steps, ask you a few questions, And then I can suggest, it's a big piece of work, what we just talked about. I've made it sound like it's 8 steps, 1, 2, 3, a little bit more
easy, but yeah, there's a little more than that.
There's a little more to it. It means that after a conversation, I can pinpoint some areas that need, that need more work. For example, a lot of the times it's the detail in the ideal client profile, and I have a checklist on my website that you can, if that's the thing that that's blowing your mind at the moment, then go to my website, mewowmarketing.com, go to the resources section. There's a tools section, and just download the ideal client checklist.
Give the
mewowmarketing.com.
Beautiful.
And that, that ideal client profile checklist will really just help you to refine that client profile in enough detail that it can be used.
It's so hard. I want to help everybody all the time, and trying to narrow that down without creating limits for yourself. It's so powerful.
Yes,
it is so powerful, because even if you have 3 or 4 different ways that you're marketing to different parts of the population, that's when you really start doing well. Because if not, nobody's going to hear you. You're just
and it's so powerful. I can't tell you how many times I've worked with clients and I've done ideal client profiles for myself, and I've attracted people with the same industry as my client profile or the same name, because I name them so I can keep track of them. As you can imagine, I've had lots. They evolve. So I've had, lots of ideal client profiles, and they all have a name. And clients of mine have attracted those names into their business, because that's how our brains work. The reticular activation system, it's looking for the things. It's going to make the things happen. So if you can be very specific about the thing that you want to happen, then your brain will make it happen. It will all align. So I've got the checklist as ideal client profile checklist. I've also got an AI prompt on there. It's a £99 prompt I've created that interviews you. Just cut and paste it into your ChatGPT. It does have to be a pro ChatGPT, but you cut and paste the whole prompt into the chat, and ChatGPT will interview you and give you example answers. And by the time you get to the end of the questionnaire, it'll be spitting out exactly your ideal client, and at the end it will just create you.
This is a process that you have that you actually put in, and it asks you the questions back.
Correct.
That's fascinating. I've not heard of this one.
Yes. So what you end up with, LeeAnn, is an awesome AI avatar in your ChatGPT that you can ask all sorts of questions. So you can call it, call it Doug, and you can say, Doug, I want to do these workshops for these, for you. Do you, and I want to do this and this. Does this, would you buy this? And how much would you pay for it? You can ask it in first person.
You want to talk about Limitless. And I know a lot of people have really gone all in with the ChatGPT and all the AI stuff. And a lot of other people have decided it's not the right thing. And my perspective and understanding is that when we find things like this and we keep it balanced, it can be enormously helpful. Absolutely. So I'm fascinated about that. I want to make sure that everybody who's listening, I will come hit us up, and you've got to come. Yes, you've definitely got to try this out. And if you're in business for yourself, this is the way to go. It will help you greatly so that you can cut away all the other stuff, hit your own Limitless, and then start moving forward. Because I don't know about everybody else. Well, actually, I kind of do. I really do. I sense it with a lot of people. We're ready for this now. It's time. We're ready. It's time. The money flowing in, the wisdom going out. We're providing, we're doing, we're creating for our world, and we're having impact. What better can it be? I mean, just absolutely, what better can it be? Cat, thank you so much. I will make sure that everybody has the links. Everybody, you want to go work with Cat. Trust me, it's business changing. Truly, it is. Again, thank you.